All right, welcome inside for another edition of SJHL Weekly, the first one of February. Can you believe it's February already? Some people can't believe it's already February. Some people are thankful that February is finally here after that month of January that we had. But either way, we had a big weekend across the league and across the province, so we'll talk about that today. Plus, we're going to be having Boston Harkness, captain of the Melville Millionaires, joining us later on in the show, and we'll do Players of the Week as well as January's Players of the Month and a whole lot more. We're actually going to play a game of Buy It or Sell It later on in the show, which is always a fun time with myself and Nugsy. But first, let's make sure to thank our sponsors. And we're going to start with Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL Chevrolet, Great Western Brewing Company, Sastel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Vatterstad. Thanks to everybody there, of course. And before we get started, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, please make sure to hit all of the buttons. Hit the like button, the share button, and definitely comment in throughout the show. We want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts, want to hear your opinions, want to hear your questions. So make sure you throw those comments in. We might show them on the screen throughout the show. And let's bring in the guy who will be talking with me today, of course. That's Jamie Neugebauer, as you can see on our UPL set here. Jamie, a 9-game weekend here. I guess it was 8. One was postponed due to some weather stuff. We'll get into that. But a big weekend across the league. How was your weekend? I know you were busy doing some other stuff too.
Yeah, I called the University of Regina, taking on the University of Saskatchewan at the Brandt Center in Regina. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm just happy. You mentioned that postponement. Happy that the Weyburn Red Wings are okay. Obviously, if you didn't see the news report, they were on their way to Melfort to play the Mustangs, and their bus slid way into a field near Milestone. I texted Cody, and he said he was fine. Everybody was fine, so that's good. But good thing everybody was okay, and prudent to probably cancel that game.
Yeah, shout out to the bus driver there. I can't remember his name. I heard of it on, I know Cody Mapes did an interview with Ballsy, Michael Ball, and he mentioned the name and thanked him for everything that obviously kept everybody safe. So shout out to bus drivers everywhere.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Don't get enough love, respect.
Don't get enough love, absolutely. So there was 8 games that actually took place. There was 4 on Friday, there was 3 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. So why don't we have a look at the Sask Lotteries look back now as we take a look at the Elk Ridge scorecard for Friday. Friday started off a little crazy on this one, Nugsy, and we'll get into this, but that'll be our first topic for sure. Flin Flon went into Estevan. Of course, these two teams are bitter rivals. Flin Flon came out of Estevan with a 7-0 win and some grumpy fans.
Which is kind of crazy because they're so far away.
Yes.
From each other.
They are, yeah. They are crazy rivals. They're the farthest away you can possibly get in our league. But here we are. And it did get a little bit heated on Friday, so we'll talk about that in a moment here. Melville with the 3-2 win over Battlefords. Of course, Battlefords had a bit of a tough weekend. Yeah. The Nipawin Hawks got a 4-0 win over their divisional rivals. Of course, this was our Canalta Hotels Friday night spotlight game. Nipawin got a 4-0 win over Melfort. And then a great game in Humboldt, a 5-4 win for the Broncos in overtime against the Warman Wolverines. Then on Saturday, as we flip the page here, the Yorkton Terriers also got a win over Battlefords. Like I said, Battlefords had a tough weekend after they were on an absolute heater for a long stretch of time there. Flin Flon continued their shutout ways with a 3-0 shutout over Melville. Humboldt got another win over Warman, this time in the opposite rink. So a couple of overtime wins for the Broncos against the Warman Wolverines this weekend. And then as you can see, Weyburn and Melfort postponed to a later date. And then one more game on Sunday, and this one was Nipawin as they headed to Yorkton, and Yorkton got a 4-3 win over Nipawin in a fantastic Sunday matinee game. So there's your Sask Lotteries look back. So Nugsy, let's get into the headlines now. As we start, we'll bring it up, the scrappy night. And that one, of course, deals with the Flin Flon Estevan game. The rest of the headlines, Starburst, ties on ties, and then what was the last one there?
Blowing
Can you put
bubbles.
that up? Blowing bubbles.
I was thinking about West Ham United soccer team.
Okay.
The fans sing a big song about blowing bubbles at the end. So.
Well, we're going to talk about the playoff bubble, so we'll talk about that later. But let's start on Friday night. The Flin Flon Estevan game, I got some text messages after this one from some people I haven't heard from in a while. So I know that the Estevan fans weren't exactly happy with not just the outcome of the game, but some of the stuff that happened during the game. So let's start with the game itself, Nugsy. Flin Flon came in, they showed their dominance with a 7-0 win, but the headline isn't necessarily about that directly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is, actually, honestly. Like, the Flin Flon Bombers what I was saying and a lot of people were saying, and I still actually hold to this, is that the Flin Flon Bombers are still a different animal at home than they are on the road. Obviously, that bears out in the record. 18-0 at home. That's pretty good. They had a 7 points out of 8 possible points kind of road trip down in the south. They didn't play perfect hockey in a couple of those games, but they did for the most part. I think the depth element, especially on the back end, is a piece of it because they are really injury riddled. Are the Flin Flon Bombers. Obviously, they lost Joey Lees in the game I called last Wednesday against Weyburn. Hopefully, he's not out for too long. But obviously, Reed Arbery, jumps right in. Nathan Lalumiere came back into the lineup for that game against Melville. Finally,
oh wow, that's big news.
He was very vocal in the press box in Weyburn about calls. I could tell it was him because he had a Quebec accent. He was like, "Referee, where is the call?" But I was like, I'm guessing that's Lalumiere. Anyways, look, obviously. The Estevan Bruins and their fans can say the refereeing was this and that and whatnot, and I'm sure the refs did their absolute best, and it is what it is. The bottom line is everybody has been to a game, broadcasted a game, watched a game where you feel like the reffing isn't for your team, we'll say. And that's fine. Everybody's been in those shoes. We can all feel the same way. The end of the day, you have to kill those penalties. Yeah. And yes, 10 power plays is tough. Obviously, the hit by Knutson on Rennie was a huge one. People have different opinions about whether it was clean or not, whether the Bombers should have been on the one on the power play at the end of it or not. That is an interesting debate, I guess, to have. And I talked to a lot of people. I sent the video to a lot of people. And we had interesting conversations around it.
Yeah.
It was a thunderous hit. And if it was in the 90s and we were Don Cherry, that would be the first clip we would show because that was a huge hit. At the end of the day, if you know what they say, you got to play better than the ref's ref if that's what you see the game being. The Bruins gave up 4 power play goals in that game. They didn't start on time. The Bombers, again, they aren't about excuses. They played a lot of games in a short period of time. They came off of a very tough game in Weyburn. I thought that was an awesome game that I got to call on Flow Hockey last Wednesday, and they found a way to turn the page quickly and move on. And you know what? Mike Reagan's got his guys going, and that's all you can say about it.
Yeah, and they were hot coming in, they were hot coming out of the game. And the one thing I'll say is that I got a few text messages from different Estevan fans over the weekend. It wasn't even just that night. It was the next day and even the day after, talking about their displeasure with what happened. And of course, when your top player gets into a situation like that, you're going to have hard feelings about it. And the biggest thing that you have to take into consideration is take your fandom out of the situation for a moment. Because if this was the other way around and it was an Estevan player hitting a Flin Flon player, I've been in Estevan, I've lived there, I've worked with that organization. The fans would have been cheering it on and celebrating the hit as an awesome moment of the game. The hit was clean. It was deemed clean at the time. The Department of Safety, if you want to call it, it's player safety, and the SJHL sent the clip around. And
it was looked at hard. It wasn't just Kyle McIntyre on his couch thinking about it.
No,
I'm telling you right now.
It was sent
many people, and lots of open and honest conversations were had about it.
Within the league, outside of the league, the clip was sent around to get opinions on what it looked like from what we could see. So just so everyone's aware, it wasn't just a small sample size of people saying, no, we'll just shrug this one off and forget about it. It was heavily looked at, heavily scrutinized, and deemed to be, in the game of hockey as it is today, a clean hit, which is rare because, big hits these days don't happen very often. So when a hit like this does happen, it gets attention.
It was a big hit.
It was a big hit.
Certainly there's an element of, you and Rennie needs to know he can't, go with his head down through center ice, admire your pass, blah, blah, blah. It's all hindsight now. I do have to say from a human perspective.
Oh, yeah.
A human perspective, it was 2-0 Bombers at the time. We hope, just like we hope Joey Lees is okay with Weyburn, or with Flin Flon, pardon me, really hope you and Rennie is okay.
From the Weyburn game as well.
From the Weyburn game. Hopefully you and Rennie's okay. That's the first thing that I thought. I reached out to a player on the Estevan Bruins. I said, I hope you and Rennie's okay. That's the first thing. Obviously, he was crushed, and obviously there was blood on the ice, and
Yeah.
that happens. It's a physical game. It's a fast game. It's going to happen. That's tough, but obviously we still hope that Ewan's okay. And again, I have sympathy for the Bruins also for, once that hit happens and their best player, maybe the best player in the league, goes down. I have sympathy for sure. But that it is what it is, and the Bombers kept playing. So there you go.
And obviously, none of us want Ewan Rennie to be out any amount of time. He is one of the best players in this league, the most electric players in this league, and one of the most fun players to watch. So we want him back on the ice. Stuff happens in hockey. It's a fast, physical sport, as Nugzy said.
If you do really slow it down, and obviously everything is different in person, everything is different in full speed.
Yeah.
If you slow it down, and I agree with the assessment that Ryder Knutson had his arm tucked, and there probably was some contact to the chin of Rennie because he went straight through him, and Knutson's maybe a little bit bigger than Rennie, and Rennie was bending
Size
over.
difference,
But it was square.
Yeah.
It was it wasn't chicken wing. It wasn't and so that kind of thing is going to happen. So again, I'm not applauding it. I'm not saying like I'm happy this happened, because obviously we want you and Rennie playing.
Yes.
Absolutely. But
I think the biggest thing that I'd want to put out there is that the two big criticisms that I saw a few people say, both online and direct text messages to myself or whatever, was that it was a late hit and it was a blind side. And to me, he had just passed the puck.
If you slow it down, then it looks a certain way.
But later,
if you're actually just watching it, it's like flick, hit.
Yeah, flick. He was being lined up, yes, but that's how you line a guy up in a middle ice hit.
But we don't expect anybody with the Bruins parents.
No, of course not.
To agree.
But
we get it.
Just to say, the puck had just been passed, and then there was immediate contact. So to me, that's not a definition of a late hit. And a blindside would incur that it was either from behind or from an angle that had no business. The hit had no business being laid.
Yeah.
It was directly in the middle. It was a direct front-on hit. So that's all I wanted to say.
Bottom line is we hope Ewan's okay.
Hope Ewan's okay. I understand the frustration from Bruins fans who were at the game or heard about it. But I just wanted to make sure we put that out there. It was heavily scrutinized. It was heavily looked at and deemed to be what it was. So there we go. Let's move on, because we don't want that being the only thing we talk about today. Flin Flon is on a heater, and they continued their winning ways the next night as well. They're on a 14-game point streak. So let's leave it at that. And we'll move on to our second top headline of the day. And of course, that's going to be Starburst. The Battleford's North Stars streak is broken, Nugzy. And not only that, if you look at the website right now on sjhl.ca, you check out the standings. They're on a 3-game losing streak now, after they were on a 11-game point streak. They went into last week with an 11-game point streak on the line, and they're on a 3-game losing streak now. So a big turn of events here for a team that seemed like they were kind of in that second place. They had it locked down. They were skyrocketing up. Now they're tied for second place. They're only 3 points up on that third place spot now. So it's a bit of a different look from a week ago, I would say.
Yeah, I think again, try to be honest on this show. Like, there were elements of their game that I think needed work still, even though they were winning games and getting through and doing well. And I give them all the credit in the world for that. Obviously, they have some of the higher end players in our league. And they have some really young players. They're a young team in terms of the main body of their team. So a little bit of up and down is kind of expected. And I said early in this year, I said in the season preview show, that there's going to need some patience, and this is going to be a project for Connor Logan and Wiley Riendeau and kind of rebuilding this brand that is the Battleford North Stars. These guys deserve a ton of credit for turning things around. Now, that all being said, they still have a great shot at least home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs.
Yes.
Let alone still maybe a shot at first overall, though Flin Flon seems like they're skating away with it. Now, let's be honest, too. Obviously, we've seen Doug Johnson, especially gate teams, especially in Melville, slow the game down, shut it down, grind it out, low instance hockey. When they get their chances, they've got one-shot shooters. Riley Oatman doesn't need a lot of opportunities. Cale Margolis definitely doesn't need a lot of opportunities. And so it was a very Doug Johnson game. Even though the shot totals were high, the good chances were not that high. And I think the Battleford North Stars, with guys like Anthony Campbell, like Raiden Zacharias, they love a power play goal. They need their special teams to be right on the money. They were not great. over the weekend either. They were 1 for 8 on the power play over the 2 games. They did get a shorthanded goal against Yorkton. But that being said, again, nothing to worry about for Battlefords. It's one weekend.
Yeah.
And obviously they scored the 5-on-3 goal there. But it's one weekend. But I still think there are areas of the game where they need to buy in, they need to lock in. Every coach in the league, talks about, make sure you're tracking back. Make sure you're gritty below the dots, make sure you're working hard in the blue paint, all these little details that I still think the Battlefords North Stars can get better at. And, they gave up a ton of shots against these 2 teams, Yorkton and Melville, over the weekend. And I'm sure Connor Logan is going to be back to the drawing board. But again, not a great weekend, but they'll learn from it.
Yeah, and for sure, and like I said, they were 11 game point streak going into this week. Yes, they've lost 3 in a row. They're still 6-3, 1-0 in their last 10.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good formula to have. And yeah, Weyburn's been hot, which is obviously going to lead into our next topic of discussion, which we'll get to in a sec. But yeah, Battlefords to me is like, they're still in a great spot. They're still playing really good hockey. The games that they lost were close. It's not like they're worrying at all. The trend doesn't seem to be worrying at all. So with that in mind, let's move on to topic number 3, because that kind of leads us into the next topic, which is ties on ties on ties. If you look at the standings right now, let's actually do that now, Connor, if you don't mind. We'll throw up the league standings. And you can see there's a tie for 2nd place, there's a tie for 4th place, and there's a tie for 7th place. Exactly what we want to add to the intrigue, to add to the storylines going into each and every week. This is exciting because every point right now matters so much for these teams in the top 8. And it's getting tougher and tougher for the teams on the outside looking in, which is our next topic. So I'll tease that now, but we'll get to that in a sec. Weyburn is tied with Battlefords right now for 2nd. Of course, Weyburn's won 4 in a row. Battlefords has lost 3 in a row. Yorkton has moved up into 4th. They've won 3 in a row. Nipawin lost their last one, of course, which was to Yorkton. So they're tied in 4th for 52 points. And then Melville and Kindersley are tied for 7th right now. And Kindersley has won 2 in a row after a bit of a slide. They've now won 2 straight. Melville lost their last game. We talked about it earlier. But it's an interesting dilemma that we're in. It's a great problem to have. Ties on ties on ties, like I said. And as of going into this upcoming week, Nugsy, there are so many different ways that the standings could change. And you got to love it, honestly. But who do you want to talk about in this one first? We could go with Yorkton, maybe.
You tell me. Yeah, I mean the Yorkton Terriers. I talked to Jai Zawatsky a little bit. Last night I talked to Jaron Denoy at the Cougars game. Actually, he was out with a bit of an injury, but he'll be back soon, I think, with the Cougars, and they love him, by the way, the U of R, and why not? We loved him here too. The Yorkton Terriers. You talk about a team that has learned to play what you call, quote unquote, the right way in the second half of the season. And I think a big piece of that is, and one thing that, I talked to Denoy a lot about too, and also Jai about, is just that depth on the back end that, there's plenty of gas in the tank for Tommy Reese to be himself. And it's just all coming together with those 3 guys on the back end. We talked a lot about it at the game of the month between Yorkton and Kindersley. What you have in that situation when you have a decor like that is you can kind of play any style. Now they don't have to wheel and deal, they don't have to run and gun it, with Corshane and those guys needing to score a bunch of goals, and everybody's batting down the hatches at the back end. Now you got Bartha, who controls the puck. Is he the best defenseman in the world? Maybe not, but when he's on the ice, the puck seems to be on his stick, which I like a lot. Nathan Gray, what a prospect. I would not be shocked if he's back in the Western League next year right away, because I really like him a lot. And then obviously they get Palin back, who's been dynamite for them. So they can kind of play all sorts of ways. They can play with a lot of depth. They really love what they're getting from Callum Craig right now. And obviously the Hawks, came hard, came back and rallied. And again, the Yorkton Terriers, they'll blow you out, but they'll also hang in tight in games. We saw that against Kindersley, and they just needed that one chance late in the game. Same game pretty much here with Nipawin. Nipawin rallied, and then the Terriers got one late here and find a way to win there, a 1-goal hockey game. But guess who scored the goal? You could probably guess it's William Leonard, who just, whatever, by pretty, by ugly, it doesn't matter. He'll bang it in. He doesn't
Billy
care.
Leo.
Yeah, Billy Leo. Willie, everybody says, French players this, French players that. He is so gritty. Like, he is the grittiest guy on that line, and there's no question about it. Obviously, Jai doesn't mind mucking it. He'll push back, and Gabriel Corshane, he was a penalty killer in the queue. That was his role more than anything. But those three guys just fit well together. Not the biggest three in the league,
Nope.
but they continue to find a way to get her done. And the Yorkton Terriers, again, so you add 3 premium D-men at once.
Yeah.
And then we're saying, oh, they're deep now.
Yeah.
What a big surprise. So there you go.
Exactly.
Way to go. Well done by the Terriers. Well done.
Well done. It's a team that has been meticulously built, and those trade deadline acquisitions just put them over the top, and it's showing as they went from. Again, I go back to this stat, November 22nd, when we were talking about our Kindersley versus Yorkton game of the month not that long ago. November 22nd, Kindersley was in first place. Yorkton was fighting for a playoff spot in 8th. And as we now are, 66 or 8 or something days later, now Yorkton is moved up to 4th, and they've been on a heater, and Kindersley is now in 8th. So it's an interesting flip. As we always love to see the parity in this league, and it's just another reason why this league is so exciting on a daily basis.
Happy to see Mason Karkachuk back. Obviously, he missed time on a Nipawin side, and the league is clearly better when he's in the league.
Instant impact too.
He's somebody that's really special to me on that Nipawin team, just because and obviously Jockham's is similar in my eyes, just in that they're so heavy and gritty in their own end as well. There's such a difference maker. I think that that Nipawin team, they've got so much firepower, so much skill, but before they had Jockham's and when Karkachuk wasn't there, maybe they were missing that bit of sandpaper, a little bit of bleep you, I guess. And pardon me for the language. But Karkachuk has that in spades. I love Braden Jockham's. He's been a huge difference maker, which we kind of expected him to be. It's not like he was struggling at all in the Null when he came back either. Like, he was a solid player in the Null there for Minot too. So just back home and familiarity, and that was a good game, and could have gone either way, and the Hawks showed it again.
Do you want to quickly touch on the Kindersley-Melville tie in the standings right now? Again, Melville lost their last game, but they're 5-4-0-1 in their last 10. And then Kindersley, they've won 2 in a row. And they were on a bit of a slide there that they probably weren't super huge fans of. But again, we talked to Will Christian just a week and a bit ago, and his belief in the team, belief in the system, belief in the organization was as high as I'd ever heard it. He was very confident that they were going to turn it around, and in the last small sample size, it seems like they might have turned it around a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, for them, obviously the first people that deserve kudos is the goaltending. Both O'Halloran and Radke, and I wrote about it in the Players of the Week article that I guess will be up in about 20 minutes or something, talking about Matthias Radke and the job that those guys have done, keeping the Clippers in some ways where they are, just because the team has been a little bit inconsistent getting that big goal, that big bounce when they've needed it. But those guys have been outstanding. And again, none of them are 20 either. So O'Halloran is a second-year guy and kind of took over there from Jamin last year, and then Radke's, an unreal young goaltender. That was a good battle, really, between Radke and Brady Holtvogt. Talk about 2 of the younger goalies in our league, 2 07s. We think about Nate Stevens. We think about Tate Timmerman. There's some good young goalies in our league, too. Finn Werner, obviously, just destroying the league right now. But, you keep going down the list. It's a pretty good battle there. And the Kindersley Clippers, they really needed that 1-0 win there over the Humboldt Broncos. They got it. It was a 1-goal difference, a 1-0 win in the third period, a power play goal. Again, we talked about Kindersley's power play was struggling a lot coming into that SaskTel game of the month there in Yorkton. They have found something now. They're starting to put them in, and they just keep getting a couple points. And I think there was maybe some worries, but it wasn't from inside the locker room. We talked so many times about the belief that's in that Kindersley locker room,
right?
The morale there that they have, and kudos to Kyle Schneider and that staff for keeping them on the rails.
Yeah, and then Melville, obviously, just final word on them. A 3-0 loss to the red-hot Flin Flon Bombers at home on Saturday. Just ran into a hot team at the wrong time. We've talked a lot about this Melville team throughout the year, with them needing to find some goals here and there. It's going to be tough when you got a team as deep and as good and as on a roll as Flin Flon was coming into that game. You remember they're on a big road trip right now. Road trips can go two ways. It can either go really badly or really, really well, usually, especially on a big one where you're going across the entire province like Flin Flon was this week. It's a chance for a team to build and bond as a team. And Melville just caught the tail end of a heater for the Bombers. And I don't think we're going to take this one and say, at all. I think Melville's got a lot to build on off of this last stretch of games for them. And with the goaltending duo of MSD and Preston Patnaud, I'm not too overly concerned right now by that loss at all. And I think there's only good things coming in the next couple of weeks for Melville.
Yeah, I think they're buying in. They're getting chances. Their power play struggled again over the weekend. I think they were 1 for 10 over the weekend. They're against two of the hotter teams in the league right now, obviously, in Flin Flon and Yorkton. But it's a situation too where the Melville Millionaires, they can't seem to have the same lineup 2 games in a row either.
For sure.
Good to see Wesley Golden back. That makes a big difference. But they put plenty of pucks on, both in the games that they played. Pardon me, Battleford's and Flin Flon. But they, plenty of pucks on both the nets in all their games, and they had quality chances as well.
Yeah, and they got the win over Battleford.
They got the win, but Finn Werner made some great saves too for Flin Flon.
I mean, they were literally facing the 2 best teams in the league. They got a win off of one, they lost the other one. It is what it is.
I think Doug's probably not too unhappy.
And for Melville too, like they got the week off now. They get to recuperate, recollect, maybe get a little healthy. They see Humboldt on Friday. They see Yorkton on Saturday. And then they got another week off. They got Weyburn and Warman at home the week after that. So lots to look forward to, I think, for Melville. There's some good stuff on the way. Last one in the headlines, at least with a direct title, the playoff bubble. And we're talking about Humboldt and Melfort. Nugsy, I think I'm just going to throw this out there. What are the chances that either of these teams at this point still have an outside shot at a playoff spot? It's getting tougher and tougher each day with the way that the numbers are kind of crumbling at the moment. It's not out of the question. I think let's talk about it right now. Humboldt's only 3 points out of a spot right now. Melfort they seem to yo-yo quite a bit, but they're 8 points out right now? 7. Math.
I'm not good at either.
7 points out. So 3 and 7 is not insurmountable by any stretch. But when you look at the numbers, what is it going to actually take for these teams to find their way into a spot?
Yeah. It's tough because everybody seems to be on like a win streak at the wrong moment. Yeah. The thing about this weekend too, and maybe I'll hurt some people's feelings, I don't know. But I think there was also a difference. You think about Melfort and Humboldt in the opposition, maybe. The Humboldt Broncos, against the Warman Wolverines, who, seem to play very well at times, but sometimes they can't find a way to just get a result what they needed it.
Yeah.
2 straight games with the Humboldt Broncos. Got an overtime winner from a defenseman, by the way, Nathan De Silva and Kai Holowachuk getting overtime goals as defensemen for the Humboldt Broncos. Obviously, the Warman Wolverines happy to get Tate Timmerman back. How many minutes can Vinny Palmerine and Fearson Lindorf play a night? I think that'll be a fun game to try to figure that one out. But either way,
Fearson Lindorf, 4th in defensive scoring.
Yeah, he's having a monster season. He's been great in his own end, and obviously I just could talk good things about Fearson for hours and hours. Yeah. But obviously again, it's a project. We talked about Warman plenty. The thing about this is it's also going to come down to strength of schedule. I'll start looking into that. But the Melfort Mustangs, they go into Nipawin as well, and it's for whatever reason. The Nipawin, the Centennial Arena has just been a house of horrors for the Melfort Mustangs this season. I looked it up. I calculated it at one point because I was talking to somebody about it. I think they've been outscored 12-0. I think in 3 games there at the Centennial Arena this year. I think maybe it's 17-0. It's something really bad, basically. They haven't scored a goal in 3 games at the Cage, and you're in that division. Obviously, you're playing there, and I'm sure Trevor Blevins has coached in this rink many times, and obviously a great performance in net as well for Melfort. But for whatever reason, the Melfort Mustangs can't get anything going at the Cage, so there was a piece of that element too. The power play for Nipawin did a good job. The PK did a great job. They outshot them. They controlled the pace. They kept it simple. It was a really good performance. I think Tad Kozin is going to be absolutely thrilled. It was the game of the week as well, the Canalta Hotels game of the week. Obviously, we had to pivot quickly because some things came up, and Tad Kozin and Trevor Blevins did an awesome job, coming on and helping us out with that. But it was a great all-around performance. They got Mason Karkachuk back. I talked about that.
Yeah.
And look, this Nipawin team, again, it's not about being great at every section of the season. It's about peaking at the right time. And you look at Nipawin and you look at Yorkton, I think there's a great chance they're both going to peak at the right moment.
Right. If you think about like the magic number or whatever it's going to be, I don't have that exact magic number. Jeremy Corrigan was always so good at figuring out the magic number of like wins and losses and all that stuff.
It's not early in the season, but it's a little
But if you
early
look
for
at
that.
the remaining games, Kindersley is in 8th place right now. I'll use them as the example here. They have 14 games remaining, Nugs. So if they're a 500 team, just over 500. So let's say they win 7 as a minimum. Let's just say so they'll gain 14 more points hypothetically. That's going to put them at 57 points. So let's use that as like the playoff line, so to speak.
Well, the worst this decade for a team to make the playoffs is 53.
Right.
So
so if you add 14 points to 43, it's going to make 57. So that means that the Humboldt Broncos have to make up 17 points, and Melfort has to make up almost 20 points, 19 points in their remaining games. So what that means is we need to start seeing them put together a couple of win streaks, both of them, if they really want a good shot. Because, yes, they're only 3 points back, but that doesn't include the thought process that these teams ahead of them are also trying to win games.
Well, Melfort was on a win streak.
Yeah, well, they
went
were.
to Nipawin.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just the one game, so it's not like they're throwing that win streak out the window yet.
I still like Melfort's chances. They're still okay.
It's still close. It's still a possibility for sure. So we'll talk about that a little bit later because I have a question I'm going to throw at you near the end of the show that I just want your thoughts on. But let's. I think we looked at the standings. Let's have a look quickly at the divisional standings really quickly. Again, it's not the playoff standings that we're kind of paying attention to, but it's always good to look at the divisions as well. In the Bungie division, Weyburn leads the way. They didn't end up playing a game this weekend because of the bus incident, which thankfully, again, everybody was good and healthy and good to go and safe. So we're happy with that. But look at those Yorkton Terriers. They are skyrocketing and they want that division title. They're getting close. The Flin Flon Bombers have a 12-point cushion for the UPL division, and then the Nutrien division, another 12-point cushion. Battleford's right there ahead of Kindersley for the 12-point cushion in the Nutrien division. Let's take a look now. We talked about this game for a second, and we didn't get a huge look at it, but it's time for the Tourism Saskatchewan highlight of the week. We're going back to the Warman Wolverines, and it's Vinny Palmerine with some magic behind the net. Let's have a look.
Now drops it for Palmerine into the play. Palmerine to the side of the net, tried to tuck it in. Oh, what a goal! Oh, cue up the highlight reel. Vinny Palmerine with a nifty set of hands, and it's 4-2.
Connor McDavid-esque, you might say. And Ryan Flaherty with the beautiful call on that one. And thanks for the heads up on cue up the highlight reel. Thanks, Ryan. We did. Appreciate that. And of course, that's the Tourism Saskatchewan highlight of the week. It's Vinny Palmerine. So Nugsy, with that, we've kind of covered everything. We've talked about every team. We didn't dive into Weyburn and Laurence because they didn't play this weekend. But other than that, let's hear what you got for Nugs and notes.
Yeah, make the notes.
You got that ready to go?
Gotta get my notes out.
Bring them out.
Bring them up. Yeah, just a couple things to talk about. Jacob Streetsy, by the way, with the Milton Menace. He got hurt yesterday in Buffalo at the Harbor Center where the Junior Sabres play, unfortunately. So he'll be out, I understand, at least a month. And hopefully he gets back soon there for Milton, because it'd be cool to see him and the Milton Menace go far there in the OJ. So we're hoping for the best there for you, Jacob. And then the last thing is, got to mention the Olympics, obviously, coming up. Obviously, we'll talk more about the Olympics, but Darcy Kemper, the only Saskatchewan guy on the team, the LA Kings goaltender, of course, former Saskatoon Contact, Saskatoon Blazers, Red Deer Rebels for most of his Western League career. But do you know who had his SJHL rights?
Oh,
any guess?
He is from Saskatoon, so it could be anybody. I gotta think like Humboldt.
Exactly, it was the Humboldt Broncos. They had his rights in 2007-8. Was actually listed on their roster briefly.
Oh.
And that 2008 Humboldt Broncos team, of course, won the RBC Cup.
Decent team.
Beating Camrose in May, and Edward Gale scored the only goal in the final, the cousin of Gary Lehman. And also went on, was a Notre Dame Hounds SJHLer for a long time, was traded to Humboldt and played in the University of Guelph. And he was playing for the University of Guelph when I was covering university hockey back in the day. So it all comes around to Darcy Kemper. Hopefully he gets in and plays well.
You just like Kevin, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon to yourself.
There you go. Yep.
Darcy Kemper.
Canada's men obviously opened the Olympics on February the 12th against Czechia in Milan, and they're in a group with France, Czechia, and Switzerland. But there's a tiny SJHL connection for you.
There you go. That's pretty cool. Thank you for that. Yeah. That's good. Thank you again to Chevrolet, our highlight sponsor. All the highlights you saw throughout the show and on our YouTube channel are all sponsored by Chevrolet. So thank you for that. And viewers, just a quick note. Again, I say it most weeks, but if you see a highlight of the week that you think should be included on the show, you let us know. Okay?
I got a heads up from Battlefords about Adam Konowalczuk's nice little backhand. And I did post that on the SJHL social media platforms. And apparently I tagged the wrong Adam Konowalczuk account because Adam said I have a hiking account and a normal account.
I saw that. And I actually saw that message.
Yeah. And so I was talking to him. I was like, "Oh, you're big into hiking." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I love hiking in the summer." So there you go. Very cool. But he's like, tag the right. He's like, "What are the odds you can tag my actual account?" I was like, "Great odds, no problem." But anyways, it was a nice backhand too.
Quick little message from the commissioner of the SJHL. Not breaking news. But he just wanted to remind you and us to give a quick shout out because you said the SJHL connection to the Olympics. We have another one.
Oh yeah,
Jeremy Corrigan, former guy who used to sit in this seat, is going to be making content and doing some media stuff during the hockey portion of the Olympics. Right, he's there. I don't know if, he has a pretty private social accounts and stuff like that outside of his TikTok account. But if you follow him on TikTok, please go do that. jcorgi37, I think, on TikTok. Go follow him. He's going to be doing some updates and stuff. But he just posted pictures. He just posted pictures and videos of himself on the plane, landing in Milan, checking out some of the festivities and stuff that are going on around the Olympics in Milan Cortina. So go check that out. Jeremy Corrigan, huge shout out to him as he is making the SJHL proud, as he always is.
And our producer Bryce, who's off to film curling. Yeah. But there's zero chance he's watching this right now.
Yeah, I doubt he's watching this right now. But yes, our producer.
But we love Bryce.
Our director Bryce, we're always yelling at him. He's always pushing the buttons that you're hearing the sound effects. He's not here today. He's also in Milan covering the Olympics as well. So we do have some SJHL connections there.
And our good buddy Austin Mattis is in the chat. Hello, Austin Mattis.
Not in Milan. He's in Flin Flon. It rhymes though.
Is he in Flin Flon?
Austin Mattis. I thought you said Austin Cardell.
No, Mattis.
Austin Mattis is there.
Swift
Thank you, Austin.
Probably.
He might be in Swift Current. Doesn't rhyme with Milan. No. Probably doesn't look like Milan either, but not many places do.
No.
So with that in mind, let's take a break because our guest is in. Boston Harkness of the Melville Millionaires joins us after the commercial break. Stick around.
The Price Beat Guarantee is back at Capital GMC in Regina. We will beat any price on any new vehicle from any competitor, or you get $500 cash guaranteed. The Price Beat Guarantee at Capital GMC in Regina.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like sports. Buy your tickets today.
In the last decade, the construction industry has reduced injuries by 46%. That's as many injuries prevented that would fill several stadiums. Find out more at scsaonline.ca.
Feeling like your dreams are out of reach? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. With RBCX Music, RBC Training Ground, and RBC Scholarships, your idea of your highest potential happens here.
original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back inside SJHL Weekly. Clark with Neugsy here. I'm noticing some chat going on in the YouTube chat, Neugsy. I can't see the YouTube chat for some reason on my normal screen. It's showing an error on the chat box, so I can't see it. So if you're wondering why I haven't responded to you, that's reason number one. But reason number two is, don't talk like that, please. You know? Come on.
Whatever.
But either way.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate your comments. Every comment makes our algorithm improve. So thank you. And with that, speaking of making our show improve, we're going to go over to Melville now and be joined by the captain of the Melville Millionaires and all-around good dude, Boston Harkness. Boston, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Obviously, an interesting weekend. You had two of the best teams in the league come to town. You got one win, you suffered a loss, but overall, a decent weekend against some pretty good teams and some pretty good competition. Can you give us your breakdown of what happened over the weekend?
Yeah, for sure. You know, you look at it standings-wise, that's two of the top teams, so it's not an easy weekend for sure. You know, we can't be mad about coming out with 2 points. I think Friday night we played real well. We played a strong 50 minutes. We kind of let off the gas towards the end. And then Saturday, you know, obviously we didn't win, but, you know, there were some good things, there were some bad things, you know, and learn from that and move forward. Definitely,
it's been an interesting season for you guys. We've talked to your head coach, Doug Johnson, a couple of times, obviously throughout the season at different points. And it seems like the confidence levels in the team, though, have always been pretty high. And over the trade deadline, you guys mostly stuck still, but obviously you added Preston Patnod to the group. And not too long before that, Matthew Spencer-Dahl got added to the group. Can you talk about your goalies, Boston? Because you're the one in front of them most of the time. Can you talk to us about your goaltending duo right now?
Yeah, you know, ever since, you know, MSD came in, he's been unreal. You know, we bring Padno in, and he's been a brick wall too. We have, you know, the whole team, coaching staff, players. We've got so much confidence in our goaltending. You know, it's nice to have. It's been great to have them both. Makes our jobs a little easier too. You know, we play strong defense, but it's nice to get, you know, great goaltending as well.
Absolutely. Obviously, we had great goaltending at the Viking Cup. We continue our Viking Cup guest.
Was he at the Viking? Were you guys at the Viking Cup together?
I might have been. I don't know. There you go. Hey, Boston is a Neugsy Player of the Year for a bunch of reasons, but one of them is Boston. I looked into the room. I was like, "Who's doing an interview?" And everyone's like, "Don't look at me, don't look at me." And Boston's like, "I'll do it. Leave me alone, but I'll do it." And it was all good. I got to ask you.
He's a captain. He steps up.
This guy's a leader right here.
He steps up.
Boston, I got to ask you about Wesley Golden. Obviously, you know, you do get a good amount of credit, and deservedly so. You've had a wonderful season. You continue to have a wonderful season. Maybe Wesley doesn't get as much as he deserves. You know, I know you have a good decor. I know you like the guys around you. But how impactful is it for you and for the team when he's healthy, when he's in the lineup?
Yeah, no, it's unreal. We just got him back here for Saturday night, and, you know, he already showed us, you know, he's back to 100%. Like, it looks like, at least out there. You know, it's great to have him. He's such a great, you know, help for our team out there physically. You know, great guy as well, like, good leader. He's always keeping the guys going, keeping positivity, and it's bringing energy. It's awesome to have him as well.
Yeah, for sure. Now, for those that don't know, and we really appreciate this, Doug Johnson allowed you, I guess, to step out of practice here for a couple minutes to come on with us. So we really appreciate. How's practice going today? How are your drills?
Well, it's great. I was out there for 30 minutes. We were buzzing. You know, it was great.
What was your favorite drill that you did so far?
I don't know. They were all fairly similar. Just you know, overspeed, just skating a couple shots in there.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, I want to ask you about yourself. You know, obviously, you know, years ago, Estevan Bears, you know, you were able to wheel and deal, offensive guy. Just talk about, you know, and I think we talked to Doug Johnson about this earlier in the year. Just what is it about maybe this year that has helped you really unlock the offensive side of your game. Do you feel like it's always been there, or do you feel like, there's something special that's kind of flicked this season for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, tried to have a little bit of it there. I think this season it's clicked a little more. Just getting a little more confidence going and just, trusting yourself a little more, trusting your feet, trusting that, you got the ability to, do that, to jump up in the play, to, go for a skate and help contribute that way.
Boston, it's not very often that Nugsy and I get to have somebody on who's played a career total of 208 regular season games in the SJHL over the course of 5 separate seasons. But it's pretty cool to have you on here today because I get to talk to you about your development over your career. Obviously, this year, your offensive side is really shining as you're tied for the league lead in points by defenseman. You've scored 13 career goals, Boston. I'm going to throw a little trivia question at you to see if you can get this. I'm assuming you remember most of the 13 goals that you've scored, but can you remember your first one back in 2022, 2023?
Yeah, that one was in Flin Flon up at the zoo.
Yeah. Do you remember who you scored it on?
Yeah, Kenneth Marquardt, old buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say. The reason I brought that up is because there's a couple, well, not, I guess you're White City technically, but Regina boys, close enough. You're a Regina boy, and I know Kenny's a Regina boy. Did you have anything on him there? Like, did you talk to him after or since about that goal?
Yeah, we're still buddies. I've always talked to him, after the game, just a little chit chat. So for sure, I had to let him know. It was exciting. It's
perfect.
Yeah, I've known him for a while, so it was nice.
Well, let's talk about just this season now. Career highs in goals, assists, and points, among other things. But what has led to your development on the offensive side of the game? Because for years we knew you as a solid, right shot defenseman, and now your numbers are picked up in your 20-year-old year, of course, as you're given more responsibility. But what's led to that development over the last couple seasons?
Yeah, I think, just gaining that confidence, working on it, in the off season and, a little bit throughout the season too, to, find things that work to help contribute and get up there. I think the rest of the team and Doug, make it pretty easy. Our D-core locks are down. It's, you can take a couple chances every now and then as well. And, our forwards are helping put the puck in the net and contribute as well.
Yeah, for sure. What a number, though. 200, obviously, in this day and age, you don't see that longevity. You don't see guys sticking with a program, that long. Just talk about, what it means to you, that 200 number, because it's an incredible accomplishment to not only do that, but to stick with the same program. And not only that, to be a huge reason why a program, that was not in terrific shape, I don't need to tell you, has really turned it around under Doug Johnson.
Yeah, it's super exciting. It's an honor to, be able to play all of the games with the Melville Millionaires. Ever since they drafted me, 6 years ago almost now, it's, I've just always wanted to be a Melville Millionaire since. And, it's an honor really to, be able to play all of that with one organization. And, the guys around, like the coaching staff and the higher ups, the board, it's been, exciting and just means a lot to me to be able to play it all with one team.
Yeah, it's going to be so weird next year with the SJHL without Boston Harkness. That's going to be bizarre because you've just been part of it for so long. I guess just talk about, maybe, I know you're all in on, getting Melville to the playoffs and being a pain for whoever is in the first round that you're facing and whatnot. But talk about, kind of the feelings of being a 20-year-old, as long as you play in this league for one organization and knowing that it's going to come to an end, you're going to have to go on somewhere else, and maybe if you could also tell us, what's the process right now for you thinking about what might come next year?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that, it's already the last year. There's only, a few more months left until it's all done. It's, it sucks, but, you got to move on. And, there's, you think a little bit towards next year, which, obviously I'm going to continue, playing hockey and going to school. I'm still focused on, finishing this season off and, hopefully going on a good run.
Yeah, no question. And, you talk about that coach that's, been around the block, knows what he's doing. I'd say you have one. So there you go. All right, time for rapid fire. You know what rapid fire is all about. I don't need to tell you, right, Boston? You got it. You're a consummate professional. We talked about that a second ago. All right, where is your Viking Cup gold medal?
It's at home, actually, with my parents. Right with the jersey with it as well.
There you go. Was it bizarre kind of playing with an Estevan Bruin on a pairing?
It's, you play a little bit with everybody. It's not too bad.
Yeah, as obviously you and Ethan Andrews were a very good pairing for the SJHL.
A lot of great players, so it was great.
Yeah, it was good. All right. What is your favorite thing about the city of Boston?
The city of Boston?
Yeah.
It's your name.
Your name is Boston. I don't know if you knew that. Pretty obvious connection.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'll go with they're not actually quite in Boston, but the New England Patriots.
That's fair.
Okay.
That counts.
Fair. Do you like clam chowder or something? I don't know.
I do actually, yeah.
There you go.
I went there, when I was younger, and I remember having lots of the clam chowder.
There you
so
go.
good. So good.
Fair enough. I mean, why are you named Boston? Do you know the story?
I don't think there's a huge story. I think my parents just like the name Boston.
All right, I'll have to talk to Keith about it.
Sports fans in Boston. So.
It sounds good.
Boston
Harkness.
Harkness.
Sounds like a good name.
It's got a good ring to it, no
Great
question.
ring.
I know your sister is a terrific volleyball player. How good are you at volleyball?
I mean, I get out there and try and play every once or twice a summer, just beach volleyball or something, and just hit the ball around with her. So I think I've played a little bit in elementary school. I'm okay. I know what I'm doing a bit, but
fair enough.
Not the volleyball player in the family.
Yeah, fair enough. U of R still or was or still at U of R? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. What is your favorite board game?
Oh wow. That's tough. Favorite board game.
You could say hockey because there's boards.
I made him laugh. Does that count? I don't know.
Probably just, I like doing trivia games with the family. Always.
Yeah, it's a good call.
The Trivial Pursuit, there you go. Is Benny Walchuk a bigger Terriers fan or Melville Millionaires fan?
Somebody's getting in trouble with this.
Fan.
There you go.
I think
he's got to be.
He's a Melville boy. I grew up with it. Fair enough. Who is the best basketball player on the Mills? Because it seems like, with the exception of Louis Nadeau, unfortunately, it seems like you're all like 6'7". So who's the best basketball player on the Mills?
No, there's got to be a lot of good ones with all this height for sure. I'll go with Wesley Golden. He's already got the height, but he's got the skills as well.
Yeah. Whenever you guys get a new player, it's like 6'4". Oh, what a big surprise. There you go. Two more questions. How many people named Doug do you know?
Oh.
I only know one.
I only know one also. Do you know more than one people named
My
Doug?
uncle's name is Doug.
Oh, okay. I only know one Doug.
I know.
He's a gem, though. I love Doug Jones. A great guy. All right, last question then for you, Boston. Favorite NHL D-man?
Quinn Hughes, big Canucks fan. So, it was sad to see him go, but still my favorite.
There you go. I mean, you have tools, obviously, but he's not as big. But anyway, there you go. Cool. Good answer. Thanks for your time, Boston. Appreciate it.
I don't know why, but I thought he was going to say Shea Weber for some reason.
Weber. Yeah.
But anyways, Boston, appreciate your time today. Obviously, I hope we got you out of like a hard part of practice or like bag skating or something.
He's like, all right, we'll bring the pucks back. Here comes Boston.
We'll let you get back out there and get back to work. But appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys.
There we go. Boston Harkness of the Melville Millionaires. We got him out of practice. So I don't know if I feel good or bad about that, but either way. Nugsy, that was a great chat with a great kid, obviously. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to put a spotlight on 12 more players. Well, not quite 12. Some guys actually won 2 awards in Players of the Week and Players of the Month for January. So we'll do that when we come back, plus a little segment of Buy It or Sell It. It's going to be a fun time. Stick around.
Feeling left out of can't-miss moments? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. RBC clients get access to concerts, Avion rewards, and exclusive benefits. Your idea of memorable moments happens here.
Each year, the SCSA issues over 10,000 training certificates to the construction professionals who build our province. That is the same population as Weyburn. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like arts and culture. Buy your tickets today.
Introducing SaskTel Student Saving Tips. Tip number 138. You could build your own pallet furniture.
Oh, you're living on your own. You can save money by building furniture with pallets.
Or get Infinet 150 for only $50 a month with SaskTel student deals.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
You know what I just noticed, Nugsy, on that the little clip pack that we have coming back into our show? Boston Harkness is on the ice for a goal against. Eesh, sorry, Boston.
Well, it was the David Coyle, Michigan.
Oh, was it the Michigan?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm sure. If you're going to be on for a goal, might as well be.
Might as well be a Michigan.
I also learned that Stephen Turner in the back does know a lot of numbers.
He's a numbers
He
guy?
was like 50.
Oh, yeah.
35.
He loves
30,
saying numbers.
25. 20. I was like, okay, well, you know a lot of numbers.
Yeah, he's a big numbers guy. Speaking of numbers, we have 12 awards to hand out.
I'm going to take a nap
can you
over
count
here.
to 12? 1, 2. Like the Count Chocula or Count Dracula? Okay, so let's do that now.
12 players.
Steven, stop it with the 6 and 7, okay? It's time for, we announced Players of the Month earlier today, so if you've been online at all and you follow along, those have been out for a while. But Players of the Week just got announced, so let's go ahead and do Players of the Week now. We'll start with Players of the Week. Ripping the packs, ripping the packs. Here we go. Player, the SGEU MVP of the week. The Yorkton Terriers' Callum Craig, a 3-0 record with a .900 save percentage, 233 goals against. He had wins over Estevan, Battlefords, and Nipawin this week. So a big week for Yorkton, but a big week for Callum Craig as well. Shout out to Callum Craig.
They called him Clutch Craig in the article.
Yes, Clutch Craig. The Borgo Forward of the Week. The Flin Flon Bombers had a pretty good week, and Reed Arbery was a big reason why. 7 points in 4 games, 2 goals, 5 assists. So shout out to Reed Arbery. Obviously stepped up in the absence of Joey Lees in the last couple of games specifically. So good job there. Speaking of the Flin Flon Bombers, the Super U Defenseman of the Week is Xavier Fauchon. 3 points in 2 games, but it's a bigger picture thing for him. He has had a big last couple of weeks, and it's we'll talk about that in just a second. So obviously, I think he had 6 points. Did he not? Did he not have 6 points in 4 games this week? I think he did.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a thing there. We won't worry about it. The SaskTel goalie of the week, sorry. Month is next. The goalie of the week, Charlie Tritt. He had a 2-0-1 record this week with a .929 save percentage, 229 goals against. Run-of-the-mill numbers for Charlie Tritt.
I sent Charlie that picture that this graphic is built on, and I said, man, that's got to hurt. He's like, no, man, it actually feels unreal.
Yeah, I mean, good stretch. Good stretch, never hurts. He did have a shutout this week as well against the Melville Millionaires. We just talked to Boston about that. And the Sask Milk Rookie of the Week, we move along, is Matthias Radke. We talk about the goaltending duo in Kindersley. Matthias Radke's been a big part of why their goaltending duo has been so strong this year. His first career shutout against the Humboldt Broncos earlier last week. So shout out to Matthias and congrats on the first SJHL shutout. And then the Canterra Seeds Saskatchewan Player of the Week is Braden Jockums. This guy has been rock solid since joining the Nipawin Hawks. Again, we talked about that earlier. Of course, 4 points this week, 2 multi-point games So a big week there for Braden Jockums and a big week for the Nipawin Hawks, but they've been rolling lately, so I'm not overly surprised there. Let's move on to the Players of the Month. Nugsy, again, these were announced earlier this morning, so you've maybe seen these already, so it shouldn't be a shock to too many people, but we'll start with the SGEU MVP of the month of January. We'll go with Josh Knittig from the Battleford's North Stars. 20 points in 12 games. Him and Anthony Campbell together are dangerous, but he had a very, very special month in the month of January. The Borgo forward of the week, we're going to the Yorkton Terriers again. It's William Leonard, who had 8 goals in 11 games, 19 points in the month of January, and a huge reason why their push up the standings has been so powerful. And we'll get to another reason why a little bit later, but the Super U defenseman of the month, we're going back to Flin Flon and we're going back to Xavier Fauchon. 12 points in 11 games, a point per game for the Flin Flon Bombers defenseman. And Nugsy, you had a great correlation to why that might be in your article about this.
Yeah, just, you know, he's been very solid all year. He had a great start, kind of tailed off, and then has really kind of come back to where he was when the Flin Flon Bombers acquired Ryder Knutson from the Humboldt Broncos. Mike Reagan loves Ryder Knutson, let me tell you, and playing together has been awesome for them.
It seems to have sparked a little bit
because you think
more
about
of
it, that Flin Flon decor, you know, it's not that old.
Yeah.
So you add Knutson, who's another veteran, with Fauchon, who's a veteran. Now it's a little bit older.
Yeah.
Knutson back there. And of course a captain there.
Seems like an instant fit for sure. The SaskTel goalie of the month, another really hot team has been the Battleford's North Stars, and it's Caden Serpa, 6-1, 0-1 in the month of January. A lot of wins. Of course, a .919 save percentage, so very solid back there. 318 goals against, of course. But the 6 wins was definitely a big reason why we gave him the goalie of the month for January. Finn Werner of the Flin Flon Bombers is getting the Rookie of the Month, a 5-0 record. He could have been goalie. He could have been MVP potentially, but he only played 5 games, so we put him in the rookie slot. 120 goals against with a .954 save percentage over 5 games, Nukes, and 3 of those are shutouts. Holy cow. Yeah. Finn Werner continues to impress in his time here in the SJHL.
I'm impressed.
Absolutely. And then the Cantera Seed Saskatchewan Player of the Month. We talked about William Leonard. Can't say too much more without bringing up Jai Zawatsky. 17 points in 9 games played, almost 2 points a game. Of course, he missed a couple of games for the Viking Cup as he was there. He was away. But
you could say he scored 7 goals in January because he scored 2 goals in a game against Sate at the Viking Cup.
At the Viking Cup. So add those numbers in. He was nearly 20. He had over 20 points if you include his Viking Cup numbers. So there you go. There's the Players of the Month and the Players of the Week. Nugsy, let's play a little bit of buy it or sell it. You in?
I'm in.
All right. I got 6.
Buy it.
I got good one. I got 6 questions for you, and feel free to play along in the comments if you want to throw in your answers throughout the segment here. Topic number 1 for buy it or sell it. So if you buy it, you agree. If you sell it, you disagree, and tell me why. The Humboldt Broncos and Melfort Mustangs will miss the playoffs, but they will both finish in the top 4 next season. So a home ice advantage spot next season. So I'm not just saying they will miss
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on here. So they will miss the playoffs, unfortunately, this year. But however, they will finish top 4 next season.
I'm going to sell it. I still think one of them makes the playoffs.
Oh, okay, so you're selling the first portion.
Yeah.
What about the next portion where you think both will finish top 4 next season? What do you think? Possibility?
I think it's certainly possible. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's a little early to tell. Obviously, there's a big offseason.
Hard to say that one.
Hard to say.
I'm going to sell.
Okay, sell it. Got it. Because you think one will make the playoffs this year. I like it. Question number 2. Yorkton will end the season with 1, 2, and 3 in league scoring.
Oh, interesting.
So the top 3 right now, you and Rennie, of course, leads the way, and by a little bit of a margin.
Sure.
But
I'm gonna sell it just because there is a good field.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's certainly possible. But it's a light sell.
Yeah, exactly. And with Jai Zawatsky, I think is tied right now with Rylan Williams, who I can also see going on a hot streak and jumping up as well. But I just thought that'd be a fun one because the way they've been playing lately, holy cow, they've been moving up fast. So wouldn't be shocking, but they have a tough go with those Estevan Bruins
Don't
guys.
sleep on the Bruins. They got heart.
Do not sleep on the Bruins. Absolutely. Question number 3. Flin Flon will end the season with 10 active goalie shutouts combined. Now, Charlie Tritt has 4 right now. Of course, most of those were with Humboldt, but I'm including that right now just for the question. So he has 4. Werner has 3. We're not including Peck. He had 1 for this one. But 7 right now. Flin Flon will end the season with 10 shutouts. as between their two goalies?
I'm gonna buy.
You're gonna buy.
I'm gonna buy. They're
Yeah.
playing so well as a team.
Yeah.
Not just those guys who are good at stopping pucks.
Right.
So
Buy.
Yeah, buy.
And the way they're playing at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got 10
absolutely.
of 14 at home the rest
Yeah.
of the way, folks.
Yeah.
Strap in.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, question number 4. This is, you gotta think about this one a little bit. There's some numbers involved here. Steven will love this one.
He likes numbers.
Yeah. The league will finish with 25 or more 20 goal scorers this year.
Wow.
2 years ago, I'll give you some background and some numbers here. 2 years ago, the league had 27 20 goal scorers. Last year, 22. So 25 is kind of in the middle of those two numbers. This year, we already have 8 20 goal scorers. We have 4 other guys at 19, so that would bring it to 12. But 40 guys right now have at least 12 goals. So if you think about it, there's somewhere between 14 and 17 or so games left for a lot of teams, 18 I think for a couple teams. So if you think about 12 goals, 8 more goals for those guys in that stretch of time.
So you're saying 25 guys?
25 guys will get 20 goals total.
That's a lot of guys.
Right now we're at 8. We have 4 at 19.
Yeah. That's aggressive.
It is aggressive.
I'm going to sell it just because it's too aggressive. But
Okay.
I mean, not far off.
Yeah.
But I think that's
There's a good
little
chunk of guys
aggressive.
between like 19 goals and 15 goals right now too.
Yeah.
You're gonna sell
I'm
it,
gonna
though?
sell, but not a confident sell.
Okay, fair enough. It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
But
and still lots of goals going.
this one's very similar. Just
Yeah.
going with defensemen here.
Yeah.
The league will finish this year with 10 defensemen with 10 goals. So right now we only have 1. Boston Harkness, is it Boston Harkness?
Tommy Reese.
Tommy Reese has 10. There is currently 10 guys in the league right now who have at least 7 though. And that includes Tommy Reese.
Yeah.
11 2 years ago. We had 6 last year. We have 1 right now. But again, we have 10 guys who have at least 7 goals. Will we hit 10 guys with 10 goals?
No.
No?
Well,
It's only going to take 3 goals from these guys.
Yeah, interesting.
I got you thinking.
That's a good one.
Yep.
I like that. Yeah, let's buy. Let's have fun. Let's have fun. Let's buy.
I
Sure.
could see it.
There's some real good offensive defensemen in this league.
I could
Let's go
see it
for
happening.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to throw one in. I didn't plan for this, but I'm going to throw it in. Right now, as of today, this is a big one because we've talked about this one before in other years of this segment. We have 10 goalies. Remember we talked about it on Thursday? We had a goalie who was 909, and who was it? Somebody had a 909 save percentage, and we were like, I bet they'll have a good game. I think it was Callum Craig. Now, he actually didn't, he's not the one I'm talking about. Somebody else got in there, though. We have 10 goalies with a 910 save percentage.
Yeah. O'Halloran jumped in there. I think.
O'Halloran jumped in there.
Yeah.
So Kaysen Kabelka has a 909, Callum Craig has a 907. So those are the 2 guys. But will we finish the season with 10 goalies at 910?
Yeah. I'm going to buy that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Buy that.
There's
Love
a lot.
that.
These goalies are playing great.
Yeah. Last one, and it's a fun one for you because Director Jordan, graphic director, audio director, what are you today?
Genius.
Audio? Direct camera
Drone
switcher
flyer.
director?
Regular director.
Regular director,
Great
Jordan.
person.
He's filling in for Bryce.
Bearded person.
He was in Nipawin this weekend, and he made us have a little conversation about restaurants. And Yugsy is wondering, buy it or sell it, the Damn Smokehouse is the best restaurant in an SJHL market. This one might cause fights. There might be fist fights in the comments about this one. There's so many communities, and there's obviously 12. We have 12 communities. And there's so many good restaurants. I think of the Tower in Estevan, among others.
That's
in
the one that
Estevan.
first one I thought of.
Yeah,
too.
I think of, there's some great, obviously, what's the famous one in Humboldt that I haven't been to yet?
Johnny's.
Johnny's
Is
Bistro.
deadly.
Haven't been
I
there.
think Johnny's, okay, people are like, oh, you guys are bombers, blah, blah, blah. I don't really like Chicken Chef that much,
There
to be
you go.
fair.
Hot
But
take.
I'm also gluten-free.
Right.
So maybe
you can't have
maybe it's
breaded
got
chicken.
good gluten-free food. Maybe it's got
Yeah.
But I mean, there you go.
Tough to have.
I like Johnny's Bistro better than Chicken Chef.
Okay, but the question is the Damn Smokehouse.
Yeah, I think the Damn Smokehouse is the best restaurant.
So you're gonna buy it then?
I'm gonna buy it.
Okay.
I love barbecue.
Yeah. Now I haven't been there. Whenever we went to Nipawin back in the day, it was the Vienna. Was that one Vienna House?
Well, Brendan Olson was telling me about Mabel Farms, also really good in Nipawin area. They got the Spot in Nipawin. Nipawin's a really good food spot.
Well, I think we're
Really
making a road trip.
Yeah.
Got to go to Nipawin.
Yeah.
Because Director Jordan said that he had, what was it, Jordan? Honey garlic?
Pork belly.
Pork belly?
Which is, I ate pork belly before the game of the month between Nipawin and Melfort last year. And Nick Nielsen and I called the game on SaskTel.
At the Damn Smokehouse?
And well, I didn't call the game at the Damn Smokehouse, but I ate at the Damn Smokehouse. Yeah. And then we called the game, and I was just falling over.
Oh, because you were
well,
so
yeah. Kelly
satisfied.
Lewis likes the KFC buffet in Weyburn.
KFC buffet.
Fair enough. You know. I asked Cody Vapes when the coaches go there how many plates, and he declines to answer every time. So
smart,
fair enough,
smart answer.
But yeah, that's a good choice for sure.
Well,
yeah.
if the KFC,
what's your opinion out there?
If the KFC buffet is going to be included,
there's great food in Estevan. Lots of good food.
Oh
in
man,
that's a deadly.
I could go on for a little while about the food.
I bet you could.
But definitely some good spots for sure across the league. Let us know if there's still time. There's still time in the show. But let us know yours in the comments if you have some favorites from around the league and from different markets. It's always a fun conversation to have. But that's buy it or sell it. So thanks, Newsy. That was fun. Let's have a look at the upcoming schedule for tomorrow and Wednesday. There's, I think, 5 games? We got 2 on Tuesday. Humboldt's going to be in Battlefords for a Nutrient Division clash. And then Melfort will be in Larange for a UPL Division clash. And then on Wednesday, I think we have 3 more, if I'm not mistaken. Estevan's in Yorkton for a Bungie Division battle. Weyburn will head up to Nipawin for a battle of 2 of the top 5 teams in the league right now. That's going to be a good one. And then Kindersley is in Warman. And it's a 7:45 start for some reason. Not sure what that's about. There's probably some reason for that. Not quite sure. Warman, if you're listening, tell us.
I believe that was a redo. That was
Is it a rescheduled game?
Rescheduled game. So.
Maybe they just didn't have any availabilities
I think it was
or
just
something.
the way the ice was going. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, there you go. It's a 7:45 start. If Warman, if you're listening, please tell us why. That'd be great. Emery Lawson chimes in. Emery, head coach of the Yorkton Terriers, head coach and GM of the Yorkton Terriers, says the Owl's Nest in Yorkton. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to the Owl's Nest.
Yeah.
Should we go to the Owl's Nest?
Yeah, we should.
Okay. Emery, what's your order when you go there?
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. Nugsy, final word to you. Obviously 5 games, a couple big ones coming up here.
Yeah.
What do you got your eye on midweek here?
I mean, like, obviously I was really impressed with the Weyburn Red Wings when they played against the Flin Flon Bombers while they got to travel to Nipawin. Very interested to see that team that in Weyburn. I think they're the quickest team in the league, and I'm sure Nipawin Hawks fans are like, we got the quickest team in the league.
Yeah, that's going to be
so that'll be a fun one to watch because both
Emery
those teams
Lawson's like, hey, we got the quickest team.
Absolutely fly. Yeah. You know, hey, Yorkton looked really fast against Kindersley too. So I love what Cody Mapes and them are doing over there. I think all the Bungie teams just in general keep being interesting. How is Estevan going to bounce back?
Yes.
With from everything when they take on Emery Lawson's Yorkton Terriers. I'm sure Emery's not sitting there feeling 1,000% happy given the situation that the Estevan Bruins, I'm sure, will have the big chip on their shoulder.
I think saying that Estevan's going to be fired up for that game is an understatement.
They should be fired up.
They should be fired up.
It'll be a heck of a game.
Yeah, it's going to be a great start to the week. So make sure you keep an eye on all of our social media channels as we got you covered with highlights, we got you covered with recaps, and all the stuff that you need. Of course, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you get your Flow Hockey subscription and give us a subscription on YouTube so you can watch all the highlights and everything that goes on across the league as it happens. Make sure you get sjhl.ca bookmarked and check it every day, multiple times, because there's always stuff coming out on there as well. And thank you one more time to our sponsors. Let's start with Cantera Seeds, Capital Automall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, Chevrolet, Great Western Brewing Company, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Battersat. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Jordan. Thank you to Steven. Thank you to Connor in the back room. Shout out to Bryce, who's in Italy for the Olympics. Shout out to Jeremy Corrigan, who's also in Italy for the Olympics.
Shout out to Darcy Kemper.
Shout out to Darcy Kemper. Humboldt Bronco hopeful at one point.
Yeah, when he was with the Saskatoon Blazers.
Yeah. Did he play with the Blazers and the Contacts?
Yeah, I didn't know that was allowed, but it turns out it is allowed.
Apparently guys move around a little bit. All right, well, that's going to do it for now then. Until Thursday, we'll have SJHL Insider coming your way on Thursday. Nugsy and I. Do we have a guest?
Parker Layton.
Parker Layton, former Larange Ice Wolf.
Augustana Viking.
Augustana Viking, of course, played in the Viking Cup. So it's going to be an interesting chat on Thursday with Parker. But until then, 5 great games. Enjoy the hockey, everyone, and we'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.